Confirmation, Mike. Wind at 320 degrees at 6, temperature 53, altimeter 3000.
People like you, organizations like RampCheck, I love you guys.
4, 5, 6. Gotta be down, ready now.
You are clear for takeoff runway 21 left. Winds are calm. Stand by for the retrans on uniform. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the RampCheck podcast. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Ryan. What's up, brothers?
How's it going?
I'm a little sick, so I'm probably going to sound like hell tonight between this sniffles and an occasional cough, but you know, that's how it goes. It's not summer yet, so I expected to get sick at least one time this winter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good job on not pussing out and being here with us, because I gotta admit, I was thinking about it. Holy cow, we've been so busy with the other side of work that I'm exhausted.
Yes, so am I. Wow, it was a long day actually, but it's 7 o'clock. That means it's another edition of the RampCheck podcast live stream, and of course, catch us every Wednesday night live right here on YouTube, Facebook, and of course the Twitters.
And
guess what?
And yeah, this is a surprise.
What?
Look at this. We are live streaming on Rumble tonight too.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hell yeah. Well,
we're on Rumble.
People, thank you for watching. Now, can our friends on Rumble, can they are they able to chime in and say hello? And
so that I do not know, but I can monitor the Rumble messaging from my phone for tonight at least, and then we can see what we got going on.
That's awesome. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you. You guys sound a little echoey, muffled, but that's okay. Our first chat tonight is Taz. What's up?
Hey,
Taz.
What's
going on, man? Good to hear from you.
Watching all the bone action from social media totally reminds me of Taz every time, because he is a former B-1 bone pilot. So
yeah,
that's cool. Awesome.
Cool. But, I'm also watching us live on YouTube right now too. So,
well, that's great. That'll boost our viewership numbers in the data.
Exactly.
And didn't you say we're still working on maybe how to get it through Instagram? Is that right?
Yeah. Eventually, I'm hoping within the next week or two, maybe next week when we live stream from Red Flag. Maybe I can have Instagram set up.
Cool. That'd be cool.
If not, maybe we can just live stream the Instagram on one of our phones while we live stream the podcast. I don't know. We can figure something out.
Yeah. Definitely.
We're good at winging it.
Yep, we're good at winging it. And speaking of Red Flag next week, of course, we are going to be there Wednesday, actually 1 week from today, Wednesday the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Of course, Red Flag is going on right now. Well, it's trying to with all the rain and everything. It's been crazy wet down here the last few days, and but it looks like it's supposed to start drying up, and the weather should be pretty good while we're down there. But while we're down there in Vegas at Nellis for Red Flag, we will definitely be doing some lives on Instagram, and of course the live stream will happen as well. Taz says he's going to have to come hang out. Taz, you can be our special guest next week.
Dude, what are you doing Wednesday evening next week?
In our special mobile studio, aka Aaron's truck.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we're really looking forward to that. Absolutely. Yeah, Taz, we'll definitely have to have you come on in and hang out. Also, Aircraft Images checking in another night with the RampCheck brothers. How's it going, guys? You missed the OW again. You do that on purpose.
I like how he just does it like that. Just, how's it going? How's it going?
How's it going? How's it going, y'all? How about it?
How about it? How's about it?
And Wadman checking in as well. Agreed on the long day. Yes. Well, the difference between Wadman and us is Wadman gets to work with aircraft related stuff all day long. We do something a little bit different, but hey, it pays the bills right now.
We're always chatting aircraft anyway throughout the day.
No matter
We're
what.
always texting back and forth with the news and all the current events going on.
So I forgot to tell you guys, I was playing pickleball on Sunday. Yes, I play pickleball. Just get over it.
Pickle.
Well, pickleball. So explain to everybody real quick what pickleball is, because to be honest with you, I still don't know what the hell pickleball means.
Okay, if you haven't played pickleball before,
it sounds like something that you'd like type up and find on OnlyFans or something.
Pickleball. No, that would be tickleball. Wait, or no,
That would be
tickleballs.
tickle the pickleball.
Anyway, it's kind of like racquetball and tennis, right? Kind of. At least that's the impression that I get.
Tennis.
So it's
your audio broke up for a second there, but that's
all right,
okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I
Explain
was
it.
just saying. To me, it's a condensed size tennis ball court played with like wiffle balls. So it's like
Okay.
ping pong / tennis / wiffle ball.
Yeah, so it's like you're playing tennis, but on a ping pong table. Oh, fuck, I don't know. Here, let me show you this really quick, and then this will
only play a second.
this will explain it. Yeah, we're not going to do it.
Global, and I'm here to talk to you guys about pickleball.
Okay.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. It was invented by 3 dads on Bainbridge Island back in 1965. It's a combination of tennis, ping pong, and badminton.
See?
It's played on a badminton-sized court.
Got it. All right. So, yeah, it's a little bit of all those wrapped up into one.
Anyway, finish your thought. What were you saying?
Oh, so anyway, I'm playing pickleball on Sunday.
Yes.
And I hear this really loud jet noise, and I'm looking all around for it. So where we play pickleball is pretty close to the St. George Regional Airport.
So this Southern Utah, for the first-time watchers that don't know that, right. Southern Utah.
George, Utah. Southern
right.
Utah.
Right.
So we're about an hour and a half northeast of Las Vegas, where I'm at. So anyway, I look over towards the airport. I can't see anything. And then I see a very light gray 707 taking off. It's got a boom in the back.
Dude, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, it was the Israeli.
Hell yeah.
The Israeli KC-135.
Touch and goes, maybe.
Yeah, it did like 3 or 4 touch and goes, and then it flew.
I can't believe it's such a bummer we didn't know that, because that would have been cool to get some footage, like even on your phone or something. We'll see him next week.
Yeah, we will. But I thought that was just so cool to see. Just to see that, and
those Israelis, man, they keep those KC. They're called KC-707s. What's that?
There's my blurry picture of.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying.
Yeah, I can't. It looks like a bug on your windscreen, on your windshield.
So it was really cool to see that, and they were
is cool.
Oh, that's just another airplane. Of course, I'm geeking out. Well, red flag exercise is going on down at Nellis Air Force Base, and that's the Israeli KC-707. Blah blah. Anyway, so
and they were everybody's like, okay, next serve.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And so we're gonna see them obviously next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the Israelis are there. Who else is there?
Shaw Air Force Base Vipers are there.
Okay.
And they've got 3 really awesome painted tail flash jets that they have there too. Those will be good. The Ellsworth Bones are there. We just talked about that a minute ago. And speaking of that, there was a spotter that lives in St. George that actually caught the bone, or at least 2 of the bones coming in from Ellsworth. They flew over St. George before they went into Nellis, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I know I should remember names, but there's so many there's so many like hashtags and underscores and ats with everybody's names. It's just too confusing.
Isn't he the same guy who caught the
all the aircraft fueling?
refueling. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
We're gonna have to connect with him and find out where to go so we can see some of this.
Yeah, that'd be fun to go do that with him one day.
I'm stoked for Red Flag. It's gonna be fun. By the way, we ordered some. We got some new ramp swag coming in, so I'm pretty excited. I think I forgot what I ordered, but I ordered some cool shit. So did Ryan.
Oh yeah,
and so did you. So you'll get to see some of our new ramp swag. If you don't want to wait until you see the ramp swag, just go to the ramp swag store. Hashtag RCG ramp swag. www.rampcheckglobal.com. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
My American Air Power shirt. And I think I got a variation of this actually in my order.
Yeah.
But look at the little ticker down below. You can go to the Ramp Swag store right now, rampcheckglobal.com/shop-all.
That's right.
So anyway, all right. What's up, Aaron? What you got for us tonight?
It's fun. Speaking of Ramp Swag, so last time I wore this hoodie was actually at a media event at Hill for F-35 demo team. And this is really funny. I put it on for the podcast tonight, and I still have my earplugs in my pouch that the 388th Public Affairs gave us. So it was kind of funny. But
earplugs.
Yeah, well, I didn't wear them, but they hand them out to everybody. Yeah. Anyway, so of course, we need to talk about this. So everybody knows, well, anybody in the aviation community, that an MQ-9 Reaper drone was actually brought down over the Black Sea past week with the alleged collision with a Russian Su-27 flanker, which is crazy. So I'll just read this article. This is coming from the War Zone on Drive.com. And a video surfaced that allegedly shows a close pass involving a U.S. Air Force MQ-9 Reaper and a Russian Su-27 flanker fighter jet, the two types that were involved in a collision over the Black Sea yesterday. Pause reading for a second. We actually need to talk about this with Taz when we're down there, because, he was a drone pilot too.
Yes, he was.
That's right, yep.
And I believe he did fly MQ-9s as well, if I can remember our conversation when we had him on the podcast.
Out of Creech, or did they actually go? Yeah, out of Creech, right? Yeah.
Well, there are different locations, but the actual drones are placed around the world, but they're operated like from Creech, and other locations. But anyway, I'll continue the article. Readers of the War Zone can get fully up to speed on what is known about an incident in our initial reporting here, which is a different article. Since then, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has added his comments on the incident, describing it as a hazardous episode that is part of a pattern of aggression, risky and unsafe actions by Russian pilots in international airspace. So I'm actually going to reload this page, because this video here, you can see it. Damn, dude, look at that shit. He flies right.
That's from the Russian cockpit?
Yeah, that's from the Su-27.
Damn.
The flanker. I know, isn't that crazy?
Play that again and can it go full screen?
Yeah, let me do full screen. Stand by. All right. Let's see. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Anyway, it's it's pretty crazy. I mean, you think about and then supposedly the fighter jet actually its radome apparently collided with the prop of the Reaper. And I mean, the crazy thing about the Reaper, it's not a tiny little RC airplane drone. I mean, look at that. Look at that right there. I mean, it's got a big turboprop on the back. So I don't know.
So what happened to the Su-27 then?
Well, supposedly, I don't know if it goes on in this article. Let's see here. Let me see if I can read it here. So from what I read is it landed back in shit. I should remember this with all this going on right now. The area of Ukraine that Russia took a few years ago.
Crimea.
Crimea. Supposedly there's a base in Crimea that it made it to, which would make sense. It's right off the Black Sea. So, but anyway, I mean, this is just, kind of a dumb move by that Russian pilot. I mean, he very easily could have gotten killed doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like the late great Jerry Sloan, stop jackpotting around because it's not going to do you any good.
What happened to the drone, the Reaper?
It crashed into the Black Sea.
Okay, so that's gone and it's down, and that's not a cheap.
No, not at all. But so anyway,
it's interesting in the article. If you scroll up a little bit, Aaron. Scroll back up. Let's see. Just above the picture of the fighter pilot.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, okay, right there. It says the dramatic speed difference between the Su-27 and the MQ-9 is also apparent in this video. This is one factor that has been raised as a possible reason for the collision, with the Su-27 pilot perhaps having unintentionally rammed the drone when the latter adjusted its speed or flight profile. Sources familiar with the MQ-9 operations have told the War Zone that even small power changes can result in relatively rapid deceleration for the MQ-9. So I know exactly why they collided, because the guys flying the drone were like, watch this, we're gonna fuck with this guy.
yeah you're gonna hit the brakes and he'll fly right by.
Exactly.
Gonna pull a Top Gun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh shit. Let's see. So
anyway, so I discussing that, this is actually pretty funny. MQ-9 Reaper capable of defending itself with air-to-air missiles. And look, here's an MQ-9 with an AIM-9X. So maybe they need to throw an AIM-9X on there in the future, cruising around. I don't know if they ever will. I mean, it's kind of funny, but anyway, interesting.
So Taz is chiming in here, and he said, yes, he flew the MQ-9 for 5 years.
Wow.
And then he also says we had a Frogfoot actually shoot at one of our MQ-1s a few years back, and this kind of reminds me of the same
Really?
thing.
Wow, interesting.
Someone tell me what's Frogfoot?
It's a Russian. Here, I'll pull a photo. Pull a photo up. Let me close my. Yeah, I know. It's by one. So it's kind of like the equivalent of like what the A-10 is for the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. Let me pull this up. I should have just used the same browser, but I used a different one.
That's all right.
Right here. So.
Oh yeah.
So there's a Frogfoot for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen one of them. I just did not know.
It's an ugly ass airplane.
That's what it was called. Okay.
Well, there's probably a reason why it missed the MQ-1, because the Frogfoot really isn't for air to air.
No.
But anyway, that's funny. I wonder that would have had to have been. Actually, it didn't have to be Russian. It could have been like maybe Syria has Frogfoots. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, interesting though. And that's cool that Taz mentions the 9X is a real thing. They actually did a lot of testing. That's pretty badass, man. You imagine being a Russian pilot or whoever gets shot down by an MQ-9. Who shot you down? A drone.
Well, that's the thing.
You're probably just like turn in your wings.
Exactly. You lose your wings over that shit.
Worse if he survived. It would be worse if he survived being shot down by an MQ-9. instead of just, buying the farm, because all the shit they're going to give him afterwards.
Oh yeah, dude.
So let me get this straight. You got shot down by a drone that was being piloted by some dude in Nevada.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is Crimea? Anyway.
Dude, on the flip side, imagine being that drone pilot. You're like,
it's like,
does he put a little sticker on his?
Yeah, right.
For a kill.
Are there any drones yet with an air-to-air kill?
No, not. At least not that we know of.
Right, yeah. Not that we know of. That's true.
But
that's true.
Yeah, no. There's weird shit going on out there right now, man. You never know.
There is.
It's true.
And it's the thing is it's things like this that just happen between the Su-27 and the MQ-9 that can cause major international incidents. And I know Russia's already saying that if we get provoked again, everybody's going to talk tough, and then somebody's going to shoot somebody down, and then...
Was it over international waters?
Yes, over the Black Sea and international waters.
So it wasn't like either aircraft was over any enemy lines or anything. So
no.
Well, there's tons of video out there of like Russian bears and badgers, flying in international airspace, and they get intercepted by American aircraft, and they wave at each other or do whatever.
Badgers.
Badgers. We don't need no stinking badgers.
That's where my head went. Joe.
But yeah, so intercepts or close calls, as you would call them, happening like that over international waters happens all the time.
Yeah, well, even our buffs. Some of our bombers even get intercepted by Russian or Chinese. There's been a lot of incidents of late of the Navy. You remember years ago? Gosh, this was probably like 20 years ago. When a Navy P3, and I think it was an EP3, actually collided with a Chinese fighter jet and was forced to land in China or on one of their bases, and it was a pretty big international incident. Mm-hmm. And then recently, there's been Chinese fighter jets harassing like P8s, around the South China Sea, and really maneuvering, just being stupid, and it's going to cause something major to happen one day. There's going to be some deaths if those fighter pilots keep flying like that. It's funny. I always like to hear from the military when they comment about stuff like this, how they're like, oh, the pilots flying unprofessionally, and it's like, even though we're not at war with China, it's like, unprofessionally, it's just kind of funny. It's like
professional way to fly like a supersonic jet.
I know. They're just showboating. I understand it puts the crews at danger.
Yeah.
But what can you expect?
Just put on your die. I'm flying professionally. I
know.
Speaking of the articles, you had put something on our Instagram from the Washington Times.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, here.
A little confused.
Go home. You're drunk.
Here, I'll put it up on screen.
That made me laugh. I'll wait to comment on it until you.
Yeah, here we go.
They're talking about the Su-27. The propeller of the Su-27 struck the Su-20
or the U.S. drone.
Last time I checked, I didn't think the Su-27 had a propeller, but maybe because it struck the prop on the drone, they just got their wording wrong. But it's just
it's just mainstream media, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've talked about this with movies too. It's like when you're like us, you read the article and you just roll your eyes and you're like, oh god, so. Whoever wrote the article obviously didn't really even look what either aircraft or either drone. This person that wrote the article was probably thinking of one of those drones about this big with the 4 little propellers on it.
Yeah, I know. I know, like a little backyard drone, little quadcopter.
So that's always kind of funny, but forcing the American crews to bring the drone down at sea. Yeah, probably.
That's funny.
Drone probably crashed at sea.
Yeah.
But, anyway, that was a funny post that you put on there.
So yeah, so those will now be known as the flanker P for propeller.
The flanker P.
The propeller-driven flanker.
That's pretty funny. Anyway, so oh damn, enough of that article. I guess that's pretty crazy though, and I just there's so many hot zones right now in the world. We don't need a big war like that. We don't need World War III. I mean, I understand, we have, the most amazing military in the world, but, I'd rather see him trained to be the best and to kick ass that way than actually having to, put their lives on the line against an enemy. I mean, it's dangerous enough just going up flying and training.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I don't know. I just hope that something like this just doesn't spark anything crazy. I mean, if you remember during the Trump administration when Iran shot down I think it was an MQ-4. It was one of those larger drones that the Navy was using, the Triton, they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And President Trump, he's like, well, we're not going to lob missiles into Iran because they shot an unmanned drone down. So hopefully this, I don't have a lot of faith in this administration, but hopefully they keep their heads on and don't use this as, to escalate into anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I completely agree.
Yeah, and as usual with, when we talk about this stuff, at least there was no loss of life. It sucks the drone's gone, but, at least... at least everyone's alive, and that's
good thing. Right. That's right. And I want to mention too, we actually we have like almost no presence on Rumble right now because it's very new to us. Mm-hmm. We actually have 6 watchers right now on Rumble? Watching the podcast.
Hey, everybody.
You guys.
Yeah. So if you're watching on Rumble,
feel free to comment on Rumble, and we don't have it linked on our main screen, but I do have it on my phone next to me here until we figure out, how to integrate some of these chats a little bit better.
So, and the funny thing is if you're watching on Rumble, you're probably really not wanting to go over to YouTube.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean,
that's pretty cool. But just if you're thinking about it, go to YouTube, follow at RampCheck Global, like what you're seeing, follow us, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as well. And if you're on YouTube, you can comment and actually have that be shown on the live stream right now. But like I said, Aaron said that he will he'll go ahead and read those messages as well.
Yeah, keep an eye on that too. But but follow us on Rumble. I mean, we plan on hopefully making a little bit of a splash in Rumble too. I mean, it's an up and coming platform, and one of the reasons why we like it because there's a lot of people that migrate over to it because it's basically a free speech platform where YouTube really cracks down on allowing you to talk about whatever you want, and that's unfortunate.
Especially shit that's true.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But anyway, so we plan on having a good presence both on YouTube and Rumble.
Yep, we're excited. Good. First evening on Rumble, and thanks everybody for watching the RampCheck podcast.
Definitely. All right. Well, what's the next story, brothers? What do you guys want to cover?
I don't know. I see you got something cool queued up.
Yeah. So I might as well bring this up right now since it's queued up. But the Air Force actually released some new photos of the B-21 Raider, and this one's kind of like a higher up, kind of down angle on the aircraft. I cannot wait to see this thing fly. I mean, it's just badass. I mean, look at that thing. It's basically
we did cover it a little bit last week. Remember? We were talking about the engine covers.
Yeah, that's true. We did cover that, but it's such a badass photo. We wanted to show it again.
Oh hell yeah. You can show that as much as you want. That thing's so dope.
Hell yeah. So do you remember when we were talking about this and whoops, that's the wrong one. Stand by.
That's okay.
I wanted to show let's see, which one is it? Here it is. So remember when I was saying that that it looked like the spy versus spy comment? Put your picture back up, Aaron.
Oh, it's gone.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. I think everybody can see without pulling the picture up again. Man, that's crazy.
I know.
But
I can't wait to see that thing fly.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's supposedly it's still on track for first flight sometime this year. So that'll be great. And some of you might not know, but the B-21 Raider is slated to replace the B-2 Spirit, which, we have less than 20 of those now. And also the B-1, which is, I'm actually, it's kind of funny. I love the B-2, but I'm actually more torn that the B-1s are going away just because it's just raw, like fuck you enemy power. And that's what I love about the Bone. And it'll be sad to see those go away at the end of the decade.
Well, yeah, for sure. But what happens when the Bone goes away? I understand the importance of having a stealth bomber, obviously. And, and of course,
especially these days with
yeah,
right. Exactly. But don't we also need something that can just get in there, do its shit, and then get out supersonic? I mean, don't we need something?
It's the B-1, and I don't know if Taz, wants to chime in on this, but I mean, the B-1 is an awesome machine for, when it's uncontested airspace. I mean, it just kicked ass in Afghanistan, and it didn't see any action in the first Gulf War, but I'm sure it did in the second. But I mean, it's just it holds more payload than any of the other bombers, even the B-52.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is just crazy. And it's just, its time is unfortunately passing because it doesn't have the stealth. It doesn't, and they didn't build enough of them to really keep them going.
Yeah.
I mean, they used, if you remember in the episode with Taz, I mean, we talked about how they just, I mean, it's a workhorse. They just use the hell out of them. And most of the B-1s these days are restricted, to certain speeds and certain altitudes just because they worked them so hard. And so, that's probably another reason why, just maintenance and just keeping them airworthy.
They slated to be done. Like what year?
Like the early 2030s.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we'll get the Bone for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be here for a little while longer. I mean, there's not going to be too many. I mean, the Air Force plans on, retiring more and more every year, but I don't know.
They're not retiring the Bone or the B-1 because it's too masculine.
I don't know, man. You'll have to check the NOTAM on that.
The notice to airmen. God, that just drives me nuts so much. But Taz just chiming in saying that it definitely will be sad, and that it did kick ass, but it wasn't designed for close air support. Correct.
Right.
And then the low observable is a must nowadays. Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Taz must have liked my comment.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I guess we'll know for sure if we get a different administration in that's not quite as ridiculously woke as what's going on. And you talk about, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. What a terrible disappointment. But anyway, whatever. I digress.
Man, we just can't go into the politics of it, man. It's just it's too much. It's just too much. Oh man, I just hope and pray that the men and women of the military can last until there's some change. But anyway,
just hey, everybody that's in the military, I'm just asking you a really small favor, just a tiny one. Remember your oath of office. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
True. Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point. I mean
Constitution, not to the administration, right?
Exactly. It's 100%, and it's always been that way. And I think a lot of people forget that it's to protect the Constitution of the United States. So
from enemies, foreign and domestic.
That's right. Saying. That's right. Exactly. So while we're talking military current, I wanted to actually bring up another article, and this also comes from. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Working from Taz. Sorry.
Oh, the question
is, will 100 B-21s be enough, and will we see all 100 built? I think that also depends on the administration. At the time, I mean, look what happened to the Raptor program. How badly it was cut. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to see all 100 of them built.
100 of them? That's
well,
it is.
And that's like a minimum. I mean, that is a good point, because you need numbers in order for it to be effective, because you can't buy 50 of these things and expect it to replace the B1 and the B2. I mean, you can't
just buy a handful of them. Exactly.
Well, yeah, because how many total? I think we said this last time, and I don't remember how many B2s do we have right now.
Oh, less than 20 operational. I think there's like 19.
Yeah, and how many B1s?
Less than 60 now.
See, there you go. So I mean, at a minimum, I mean,
if
they're going to get rid of both of those, you're right. They've got to do something. And we talked about how they're going to be still using the buffs, right, for a while.
Yeah. They're re-engineering them. They're putting in like a semi-glass cockpit. They're upgrading the radar. So yeah, we'll see the awesome buff around for a while.
So
that's a workhorse too.
So that'll be our bomber fleet, right? Just the B-21s and the B-52s, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So,
that'll be the bomber fleet.
Yeah.
By the mid 2030s, it's all going to be B-21 and B-52. That's what's all proposed. So Taz,
how I feel about that.
Yeah, I doubt if all 100 will be made. I certainly hope you're wrong, Taz, because we definitely need them.
But I agree with you at the same time.
Everything. Yeah, I mean,
it depends on the administration. And
well, you look. So, if you look at the F-35 program, I mean, they're definitely on track to buy like a shit more of those, and they are buying multiples every year. So I don't know. Maybe they'll finally realize, like those past programs, and especially the most recent one, the F-22. What? I see Ryan and Tony laughing.
I just clicked on something on his computer and did something funny. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
I
was just making sure I didn't miss anything.
Oh no,
brother, you got something hanging on your nose.
Yeah, we would let you know if.
Yes, here you go. There you go. Anyway, my nose is running, but not that bad. But anyway, so I hope price inflation won't kill this program again. Well, let's hope inflation will go down. Let's hope we only have a few more years of this bullshit.
Yeah, I would like to see that things shouldn't get worse, but if anything's been proven over the last couple of years, it can get worse. So
and again, to Wadman's point, all of our active duty military members out there, remember your oath. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know.
Save us. Save
And then
us.
we got another one here. The Air Force is run by fighter pilots now, not bomber pilots like back in the SAC days. That's true. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely a good point.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens, but
yeah. And it just, for me, I do not wish for war. I do not want war. I think war is a terrible thing. However, as a deterrent, people need to fear the United States again, the United States military. I think over the last couple of years, put my tinfoil hat on for just a second, I think there's been a deliberate attempt to weaken our military. So I'm hoping that course reverses.
Not only weaken, but divide it too. You know,
divide, weaken.
The leaders, so-called leaders, are basically telling our military, hey, you need to pick a side. You either need to be on this side or on this side. Mm-hmm. And we think this is the right side and this is the wrong side. And that's no way, you know, to treat the men and women of the military, man. You gotta unite everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally and I've said this in podcasts, you know, in the past. So depending on how much you out there listen to the podcast, I just think if you don't have the strongest military in the world, like that needs to be the top objective. Because if it's not, I mean, another superpower can come and do what they want if, you know, they have the evil people in place, mm-hmm. and then you run into a situation like what happened in World War II, where someone gained too much power, and then they align with countries.
You look at China right now, what they're doing. I mean, they're spending so much money and resources on building up their military.
Exactly. And you don't hear stories about division amongst that military and weakening. You just hear strength. And, you know, that's just what we need. And that's what I'll always support. That's why I'm so big on supporting military veterans and everything, because that has to be right. It has to be top priority.
The Chinese and the Russians. Now, the Russians are obviously, they've got their thing going on in Ukraine at the moment. But then there's the saber rattling between Russia and NATO because of that. And then you've got China building up their military. I don't see any of those militaries talking about fucking pronouns.
I know. It's just
drives me nuts,
dude. It's so annoying. So, you know, while we're talking about this and worldwide, mm-hmm. you know, possible World War III, which we hope we don't have. But pardon my French, but fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. There's plenty of fine men and women in the military that would still prove that point.
Exactly.
So I was actually doing a little bit of research and reading, you know, kind of on this, you know, Ukraine conflict with mm-hmm. Russia, you know, Russia invading Ukraine. And, you know, obviously the mainstream position is if you're not for Ukraine, then you're anti, you know, you're just a piece of shit.
Which is why I don't trust it. So
is why I don't exactly. It makes me question. And I know we're all three of us are on the same page on that. But I heard a really interesting point that made a lot of sense, which actually got me to think that maybe all this support to Ukraine really isn't as bad as we think it is. Because if you think about this, the two major powers in the world that are, you know, basically our biggest potential enemies are Russia and China. Mm-hmm. China being more so, but Russia still. And if you think about it, if we throw a bunch of money at Ukraine and say, hey, you beat down these Russians for a decade and you defeat them. And then if we ever had to go into a conflict with them, they're already going to be depleted. And we can do that without putting our own at risk, our own military at risk. And so it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense in that aspect. And I actually never heard that perspective before. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It kind of makes sense. So in a way, I don't want our government sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine, especially I can't stand Zelensky, man. I can't stand him. Oh my God, let's just not even get into that. But but I don't know. That aspect to me makes sense.
It's an interesting take for sure. I mean, if that is what's happening, yes, that's good, right? Anything to weaken someone that we would consider maybe another superpower that's trying to increase their power. Something just stinks about the whole thing, like
it totally does.
When the mainstream media goes so big on it, and then cancel culture hits you.
No, I get it.
No, you're not putting a Ukraine flag in your Twitter profile, whatever. You're a piece of shit, and you love Putin, and you love it, and all that. It's like, nowhere have I ever personally said that I support who Russia and Putin is. But on the other hand, how the fuck do we even know if we're being told the truth on anything?
Well, that's the thing. There's way more going on both sides here. I mean, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries on the planet and has been.
Money laundering capital.
Oh my gosh. And I mean,
trafficking capital of the world.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about the biolabs out there and
right.
Some of the other conspiracy theories about the origins of the stupid virus, all that
which
shit.
Are all coming true, which is funny. But
right.
But and it's not like on the other hand you can trust Putin
exactly, yeah,
on the other hand and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, maybe out of all the bad, the residual good is that it does deplete a superpower to the point where they wouldn't be able to put on a major offensive for decades and decades, and maybe never again.
But here's the problem with that, though. Isn't the government of the United States doing that to ourselves right now at the same time they're doing this to supposedly to Russia?
Well, I mean, and that, sure. I mean, it could be.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, with all the craziness that's going on.
Yeah. Like it definitely the point Aaron brought up. Like I've never thought about it that way at all.
No, I haven't either.
Tonight,
yeah,
which is interesting. It's just.
I mean,
I just have to go back to saying just something stinks about it. Like
why fight your enemy when you can have somebody fight them for you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's kind of the point that I read was.
Yeah.
It really made me think. It's like, well, yeah.
Well, and for such a dangerous war zone, it's kind of interesting that, like, the president can go. Well, the resident Biden can go in there. You got at the time Speaker of the House going over there. You've got the Merrick Garland, the head of the DOJ, visiting over there.
Dude, it doesn't make any sense
over there because all these big leaders. And all the fucking actors like
Sean Penn.
Oh my God, I care so much that you're going over there.
Here, President Zelensky, here's my Oscar. You can hang on to this until after the war.
Yeah. Well, Zelensky deserves
favorite bands.
I know. Zelensky deserves the Oscar, man. He puts on a good show, doesn't he?
Exactly. So for those of you that don't know and that are watching the podcast, just do a search for Vladimir Zelensky playing the piano with his penis. This is the leader of fucking Ukraine.
Okay.
Do the search. We're not going to play the video here. And then you see him dressed up as a woman performing some.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts. There's definitely a lot more, that's going on than we know about. There's definitely a lot of weird shit going on. There's probably a lot of truth on both sides of the argument. There's probably, because like Ryan was saying, all the people that I don't look up to because of their history and their past are 100% Ukraine. So it makes me pause. And I'm just like, I just don't know about this. But anyway, we do feel bad, obviously, for the Ukrainian people. Absolutely. I mean, to live in a war zone is just, I can only imagine. I mean, how horrible.
or are we trying to be insensitive towards people that are suffering? No, it's like you said, it's just hard to know really what's going on for me to really like support or not support in one direction or the other. I had a conversation with someone a few weeks back, and when I kind of said what I said about what's going on, they were like upset, like, well, people in Ukraine are dying and I can't, and I'm like, nowhere did I say that I'm pro Russia or pro Putin. That's hard to say. I just said that, we all just shouldn't be jumping on the Ukraine bandwagon and posting Ukrainian flags, because I don't even know for sure what's going on that side either, So anyway, it's, as we always talk about in this podcast, it's really important to critical think and, form your own opinions based on things that you've seen. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I haven't really seen any actual proof other than pictures you're shown on social media. And like you just said too, Aaron, most people that politically or whatever or their history of people we didn't support before the Ukraine war, when they're so big to jump on it, it makes you go,
yeah, it makes you
sure. So
it absolutely does.
There's our little Ukraine Russia
anyway, so
so Russia's fucking with the drones.
That's right.
Everybody, you know what you need to do? They need to get the military leaders in Russia. Well, they need to get Zelensky and Putin and just settle it over an intense game of pickleball. Just figure this shit out right now.
That'll do it, brother.
Tell you what, Zelensky,
do
if you win, we're going home. Putin, if you win, you can stay. And just
settle all the world's problems.
Settle all the problems through pickleball and a beer.
The Pickleball Summit. There you go.
And it'll be in St. George, Utah.
We'll sponsor it. We'll sponsor it.
But
we're not paying for jet fuel though.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So do we want to move on to kind of like a civilian story? I want to stay on military for a minute.
I think we'll be talking a lot of military next week. Let's move on to civilian.
Okay. All right. Let's do that then. Let me remove what I had queued up. Get this on here. But oh, man. So this is kind of crazy. I'll pull this up here. This is coming from The Sun, but it's actually on somebody's Substack. It's makismd.substack. So I guess he's a doctor. I think I saw on his profile. Anyway, a veteran British Airways pilot collapses and dies of a heart attack shortly before he was due to captain a packed Airbus A321 from Cairo to London. Second such incident this month.
That's not an A321 in the picture, by the way.
No, that's A380 exactly. Yeah.
Way to go, son.
I know. It's pretty crazy, but on this Substack, they want you to subscribe into it, so we can't really go too much into it. But I mean, it's like, it starts out another close call. Another incident is being reported today by the UK News, and this happens. I mean, obviously in the past didn't happen that often, but with everything going on right now in the world, you can't. I mean, the first question, and I'll ask you, brothers, what's your first question that you want to ask when you read that?
It's the one question we can't ask when we're on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Was he poked?
Yep. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
and we've talked about before, like, remember with the runway incursion incidents, like, is this just now things are being paid attention to, so they're being reported?
Mm-hmm.
Or how many times does something need to be reported before you like put, two and two together that, maybe this wasn't happening as often before? The poke. And
yeah, I know. I know.
I mean, it's too bad.
Well,
it's scary. You know, there's just, I don't even know other way to put it. Like, you can't sugarcoat it. Obviously, there's a spike in these heart attacks.
There's a common denominator, and it was introduced, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all of these things happening to young athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of airlines, they mandated these for all of their employees, especially their pilots. And so
go ahead. Finish.
No, and then you see all of these incidents happening, and then you see. I mean, here's another one, brother, right here.
And I don't even care if it's controversial to talk about. Like, all I heard from people during 2020 was like, oh, you need to look at the facts and follow the science, and you need to do this and that. Okay, have that same fucking energy right here. Follow the data, and there is a spike. I think I saw something in Australia about heart attack deaths. There's like a 400% spike. And it's like, okay, you want to look at data? Well, there it is. Like, you have a huge spike in heart attacks, and it didn't occur before, 2021 or 2020 or whatever. It didn't occur before that, and all of a sudden, you have a country that jabs 70% of their population. And there's higher. A spike. So anyway, exactly. Like, it's just like, we talk about facts, not caring about feelings, and in this situation, that's just it. You're having a spike in heart attacks, and it's something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I just wanted to bring up this story too, brother, just to read this one really quick. So, Virgin Australia pilot suffers a heart attack 30 minutes after takeoff, prompting emergency landing.
Yeah, and
so
one you have to also.
Yeah, it's one you also have to subscribe to. But I mean, and. There's another one.
The poor girl that was.
Yeah.
This girl here.
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button here.
I hadn't heard this story.
So here's another one. Just recent. She's a young pilot, kind of hot, by the way. But oh God, I hate these ads. Here we go. Fights post heart issues, speaks out on COVID shock fears. She was healthy, athletic. Sierra Lund, a recreational pilot, shudders to think what could have happened if she had been in the cockpit when she started heart attack-like symptoms.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, this is not weeks. This is 18 hours after taking the shot. She felt intense pain in her chest, having trouble breathing. Walking was a struggle. None of it made sense. A well-conditioned, competitive athlete. Neither she nor her relatives had any history of heart issues. You hear this story now over and over and over again. Among young, healthy athletes, you're starting to see it more and more with pilots. Maybe not as immediately as what's happening. She can still fly, but she's devastated because she can't fly solo anymore.
Yeah, she can't. And if you read further in that article, it talks about how flying was just her passion. That's what she wanted to do with her life, and she can't anymore. And it's really too bad. And then she goes on to mention too, like, she feels like it's her duty to speak out, because she says that a lot of people weren't allowed to, because they would lose their jobs. And she's like, well, I'm not in a position where I could lose my job anymore. And so, bam, here's what it is, and here's what it was. So, good for her for speaking out and being brave. But, it just sucks. All this shit sucks, man.
And with all this happening, the FAA quietly changes its what was it? Its EKG requirements.
Yeah.
They broaden it. Because if they kept them the way they were with things that are happening, we'd probably have a mass shortage of pilots.
And we already do.
Yeah, we already do.
And so, so anyway, I mean, we share these things as we get them, and it's too bad.
What's worse though, having a mass shortage of pilots, I mean, that would completely, decimate some airlines, small ones that are struggling to survive. What's worse, though, having a shortage of pilots, or what if? And the chances of this happening are probably lower than getting struck by lightning, Ryan. What if both pilots have a cardiac incident at the same time on a flight?
Yeah.
What happens to the aircraft?
Scary to think. Definitely.
And you know what? Even though the chances of it are extremely low, I think it's possible. And I hope it never does happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep, that's where we are.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't have really anything else to add on that other than it's, I mean, how many coincidences have to happen before like everybody wakes up and realizes there's no coincidences?
Something's not right
exactly.
here. Yeah, exactly. But you guys know that's how we feel on the podcast, and we say it, and we don't hold back. We love aviation. We love everything about aviation, whether it be commercial, whether it be military, or whatever. But if something is messing with the aviation community, with the pilot community, with our military members, we call it out. Sorry, that's just who we are.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about more fun things. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, not sorry, I should say.
That's
sorry,
funny.
I wasn't insulting you. I was just saying I'm not.
Dick.
All right, what are we moving on to next?
I don't know. I mean, we're just over an hour into this.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
do you want to just keep it at about an hour tonight, brothers?
Yeah, let's do that. You're under the weather, and
you sounded good tonight. And
yeah, you did.
You didn't.
Yeah,
really...
hopefully my sniffles weren't too bad. I tried to mute some of the major ones, so I didn't look like I was like draining my face off. For God's sakes,
get that shit out of your system before we go.
I know. I should be good to go by then. It's been bad the last few days, but I think I'm slowly. I mean, just the fact I'm here tonight proves that I am getting better. But I got a little ways to go.
It's Wednesday, March 15th tonight, the live stream, and we go to Red Flag 1 week from today. My calendar says it's the beginning of Ramadan. So,
thank God.
Next Wednesday, 22nd, we'll be doing our podcast / live stream from Nellis Air Force Base. Well, not from the base, but right off the base.
Yeah, right down there.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
And hopefully Taz can join us. That'd be cool.
Taz, we want you to come hang out with us, man.
Yeah, he says he'll come say hi. So that I don't know, obviously if you don't want to, Taz, that's fine. But
bullshit, get down there. Come on, man.
We start our live stream right at 7. Be awesome to have you come visit with us and say hi and say what's up.
Yeah, bring a couple beers with you, man.
We had, no, I don't think, not in the truck, brother. Yeah, let's not put that. Let's not put that out there.
We're in Vegas.
Yeah, I know.
In Rome, right?
But
says absolutely.
Cool.
Well, good. We're looking forward to it. Also, Wadman checks in one more time. Did you guys see the new boarding procedure Southwest is trying? No. Did you heard about it?
I haven't. Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Change it.
Can't remember the last time I flew Southwest.
So, Wadman, clue us in, man. What is it? While we're waiting for Wadman and Aaron to look that up, by the way, don't forget the audio version of the podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Google, even Pandora. You can find the RampCheck podcast. If you can't watch, just listen to it. It's almost as fun. All right, Aaron, what'd you find for us?
Okay, here we go. So this is coming from thestreet.com. Southwest Airlines tests a big boarding process change. The airline has all well known for its A, B, and C boarding groups. Damn article. I mean, advertisement. But that could change soon. With the holiday season upon us. Okay, how old is this fucking article? Oh my gosh, December 6, 22. Come on, dude. Is there a newer one?
Oh, boy. Testing a new program.
Hold on. Obviously, this
Yeah,
is
that
an old
was-
article.
Is it
wasn't that
vaccinated
old, but-
passengers first? Is their boarding process now based on diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I don't know. Check the NOTAM on that.
Good God.
Well, that means
I swear to God,
I'm last.
I swear to God, once we get a new administration, I am going to lobby for NOTAMs to be changed back to notices to airmen.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But
anyway, I can't find anything. Oh,
play music.
Play
to
music.
speed up passengers?
So it's going to be like musical chairs.
that's funny. Were they just going to play like the Benny Hill theme or something?
Yeah, Flight of the Bumblebee, Benny Hill.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, that's funny.
Oh my God.
That's
interesting.
We'll have to do some research into that, and we'll talk about that
talk about it a little more next week. Yeah.
Or on a future version of the podcast.
All right. Well, good. Well,
once again, everybody, don't forget to go to the Ramp Swag store. Get some cool stuff. RampCheckGlobal.com. That gets you basically anywhere, to the podcast, to the Ramp Swag store. Grab some really cool stuff. We've got some great new products. And I got a couple of new hats, I know for sure. I got another hoodie and a couple of t-shirts. And I just got a notification on my phone they'll actually be here Sunday.
Cool. Good.
So they'll be here just in time for Red. Oh, wait, there you go. The RampCheck swoosh with our white outline logo. That's the hat that I got.
With the mark right there. That one.
Yep, the Flex Fit. That's one of them I got right there. So
cool. Yeah, look at that. Taz, there's the Ellsworth bone hat.
Hell yeah. Pretty
Cool.
awesome stuff.
Anyway, so those are just some of our hats, but anyway, yeah, go to the Ramp Swag store. But I just okay, let me try that again before I just wanted to remind first time watchers or listeners that our format, we just love to shoot the shit. We love to just, if we're all just sitting around a hangar working the ramp, or fueling an aircraft, or or flying or whatever, we just love to discuss whatever topics come up. So that's our style, and we love it. And
we love your input as well.
And we love your interaction. And
we're not always gonna talk about butterflies and birds, and sometimes we're gonna bring up the subjects that can be uncomfortable to talk about. But hey,
when have we talked about butterflies and birds?
I like that that's why I said we don't just what I really like is that the analogy you used about like sitting in a hangar or whatever, like a lot of times this is like line shack talk. Like,
oh hell yeah,
and you have the line shack, man, you talk about everything that's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. A lot about
it's
aviation,
like you're hanging out in the line shack.
That's what we're doing. This is just that kind of talk.
Yeah, just that time, between
We're tired apparently.
Sitting around, it's been a busy day, you've had a whole bunch of competitive rounds of pens going on.
That's right.
And anyway, so that's kind of what we're all about. We love aviation. We love talking about it. We love calling out stupid shit at the same time. So
that's right. We love everyone's opinion. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're here.
So Wadman, send us that newer article, please.
Yeah, just text it to me. Text it to me, Wadman, and we'll talk about it next week on the podcast.
Absolutely. Don't forget the RampCheck podcast live stream every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on YouTube, on Facebook, and, of course, on Twitter. Looking to build our number of subscribers on YouTube as well, so make sure you go over there if you're not subscribed yet. At RampCheck Global, that'll get you on YouTube, and make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the podcast. So,
amen.
Yeah. Anything else, brothers?
No, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Join along, and who will listen in the future or watch in the future.
Okay. Well, I'm Tony. See ya.
I'm Aaron.
and I want to add something to my good day. So
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna do it right now, and then I'm gonna do it in every future podcast. I want to say, God bless our United States military. God bless America, and good day.